So I lost my battery there. So I'm not sure where I lost it, but I removed these 3 screws here. I rolled my nacelle back to disengage my rack gear, and then I just popped my rack gear off, and then I disconnected my power leads and my 2 controller leads, and I just slid this nacelle off the aircraft. Then I went underneath my wing here and pulled the wires through and got them to where they're out of the way, and I can slide this spindle back on and off to make adjustments easily. And then when I'm ready to reinstall the spindle, I can grab them and pull them back out. So disconnecting it here at the spindle is, I think it's a much better play. It's much easier to work with it than disconnecting the axle and pulling out the axle. My conversion. So I have my conversion fairing, and the first thing you want to do is just see how it fits, and there's usually several interferences. They don't trim it back far enough to actually miss all the components on the wingtip. So you just want to kind of mark that out. This pot holder, they never trim that far enough. Conversion axle bearing needs to be trimmed a little farther, and then clearance for the servo up front. It always needs a little bit more there also. So I marked that out. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to trim this a little bit more. These get trimmed pretty high up where this conversion pot holder is. I had to trim this back. I'll trim this back a little bit to get this to fit where the bearing goes, and I'm going to trim this a little bit more forward for the servo. Don't worry about this pre-drilled hole, we'll just make our own. So I've just opened this up a little bit, and what you want to just make sure is that if you line up the contour with the wing, that you know you're not sitting on any component, so when you put your screws in, it'll suck it up tight against that wing rib. Don't forget to cut the corner off of this servo. We talked about that in an earlier step, just off the mounting lug there. Just got to knock the corner off a little bit. And I've got good clearances. I recommend just putting a hole and then one in the front here. So a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That may be a little overkill. But I'll just line this up, drill a hole, a 1mm hole, then put a screw in, and then kind of get the next one lined up and just kind of work through it like that. So I got some pilot holes in this one. This one you got to keep real close to that servo, so it broke out on the side here, which is okay. That'll hold in just fine with these little screws. Like I said, I'm going to put it in place, drill a hole at a time, and then position it, and then drill the next one. That's a 1mm. So marked on this overwing fairing is the cutout that you need clearance for the rack gear, and it's marked, so you want to take a a Dremel and cut that out. Okay, I'll get the nose of the piece lined up and the top of the piece lined up. Really don't worry about the bottom. I'll go to the next one. Usually get this back one. Skip this middle one there. It's not really going to pull up anything. I'll just get the back of the bottom lined up. Get the one lug in front of the pot holder. So I used 5 screws total. I didn't put the 2 tabs that are just behind the pot holders. I don't think that's going to do me much good. If I need some more room here, depending on how things fit, I may put another screw in here to pull this gap up a little bit. I'm just going to drill a hole here. And I can put a screw in there right there if I need one, but I'm not going to do it right now. You just don't know how things are going to fit.